One of the most common reasons for people to break up when they're in their 40s is midlife crisis. It happens to a lot of couples, it happens to a lot of my clients. And in this video, I'm going to explain what you should do, if that's the case. Explain you how you can repair, how you can reconnect, how you can also assess whether you have any chance of you getting back with that person. I'll explain the specificities of midlife crisis and the different sort of actions that you need to take, the different things you need to implement in your life if you want to get back together, if you want to get back together on better terms. Because it's not about getting back together. I'm not into the get back together, get this formula and he or she will get back with you. It's really about rebuilding healthier relationship. That's what matters. And I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So midlife crisis, when does it happen? When does it occur? Usually mid-30s, mid-40s, especially affecting men, most men than women, because men tend to externalize things and women tend to internalize it. Actually, let me know in the comment section, because I'm not 40 yet, and I would love to get your view on this. I'm going to start asking a lot of things on YouTube because I want to learn more about you, learn more about your problems, and so I can help you better. So do you feel you agree? Because when I did some research, I found that yes, men tend to externalize it. I see that amongst my clients because a lot of my female clients, they are suffering from that situation, but it's just my clients. So I don't know if it's the case with my audience. So I'd be very keen to learn from you if you relate, if you agree with this. If you don't agree, let me know. I really want to assess when I say something, whether it's right or wrong, because there's no scientific studies. It's just an impression and from things that I've read online as well. So the symptoms is obviously a strong desire for change. Usually what happens in my clients, he would sell his business and he's like, okay, I have this big lump of money. What should I do? I need to travel the world. I need to do things, etc., etc. So there's a massive change. Another element is also, but that comes a bit later on, is the emptiness syndrome when the kids leave the house and you end up, okay, we used to take care of those kids. That was our day-to-day life. And now that the kids are gone, what should we be doing, right? And so when you are about to manage this transition in your life, it's really about novelty, right? It's really with this idea of I need something different. I need something more exciting. I need to discover new things. And the problem is when that person reassesses this, we also reassess the relationship, and they will perceive that the relationship holds them back. They will perceive that you are part of the past and cannot be part of their next adventure, the next chapter. And this is what you will have to work on. This is what you'll have to assess as well. Because again, as I said in the intro, it's not about getting back together and say, hey man, to everything that he says or she says. It's really about assessing properly, away from the resentment, away from the pain, whether this new chapter is something you could do together. And maybe the best course of action is to divorce or is to break up. We don't know it yet. Okay? So there's this impulse of, I need novelty. I need to escape this life, right? I reject this of life. So the novelty brings I need to reject, I need to put that behind. And again, you become the collateral damage of this. They throw everything while they want to escape this or want to enter this new chapter. So the impact on relationship is a lot of crisis, a lot of arguments, sometimes breakup. Sometimes people feel like it doesn't work for me anymore. I need to leave. I need something else. And it's probably the reason you're watching this video. And you get this disconnection. We used to do things this way, right? Why are you leaving us? Why are you leaving me? It doesn't make sense, right? Because you never sort of complained throughout the relationship, right? Why now? What's going on? What did I do? And so there's a lot of communication issue, especially if you're dealing with a man, because men are usually not great communicators on average. Emotional disconnection. Again, they are sort of wear a mask, and they're stonewalling you. Don't break my dream. this is what I want. I don't want to open up. I feel scared opening up in a way. And obviously physical withdrawal. So you'll find people would go out, you're 45 and you start going out in bars, or not even not clubbing, but going out in bars or going on weekends, sort of disappearing. Again, it's this idea of I need to escape. So they would escape physically as well, the relationship, the home, the house. Okay. So how can you prevent and how can you cope with this kind of situation? First of all, it's really about communication. The problem is not a problem of communication, but the way you solve it is about communication. It's about showing that you're open to discuss things, that you're not going to confront your partner, that you're not going to judge him or her, that you're here to discuss things in a non-judgmental way, which is very hard to do because we tend to judge, right? We tend to give advice. We tend to try to relate to, I wouldn't do those things. No. It's about discussing and listening. When I say discussing, it's actually listening. So you have to be patient. You have to be understanding. If you can, I'm a relationship counselor, but I only do one-on-one. But if you feel the need, find a family therapist, someone who would be the mediator, the person in between, who could facilitate the conversation if you feel the need to speak with someone exterior. Because I think sometimes when you're stuck in a relationship, it's very hard because you want to bring up a topic, you want to discuss things, and they are defensive, right? And anything that you say, anything that you want to discuss, they would reject this, they would sort of exclude you from the conversation. So having someone exterior that will help you facilitate a form of communication, a facilitator, that's the word I was looking for, could help. Would that solve everything? No, but when you feel that you can't have a proper conversation with your husband or your wife, that could really help. That could be, it's tricky, but that could also be a friend or someone that you know, but that's tricky. This person needs to be someone who has a bit of experience in doing that. If you have a friend who is an FBI negotiator or something like that, that could work, for instance. So it's really about like, how can you change the tone of the conversation, shift from, you're selfish, you're always doing this, we've had, 20 years of relationship together and you're ripping this apart because you want to travel the world or because you met that young girl or whatever, right? It's really about like, okay, you're going through a crisis, what's going on? Let's figure this out together. Because, and I'm going to say in the next few slides, it's also about what you want, right? It's very important. This is why you have to shift from a confrontational phase to, okay, what should you do about yourself now? In many cases, you will also have a midlife crisis. If your partner has sold his business or changed job, etc., you probably have a career change at some stage in the next few months or years. And you could have a midlife crisis, right? You are getting older as well. You might have other needs and desires. So maybe it's a time for you to reassess this. For some people, it's very hard to assess changes, to re-establish and reevaluate our lives, but take this opportunity to do that. Understand what you want to achieve, understand what you could achieve together. This is challenging, but that's a project that you have to manage together. What you're going to do in the next 10 years, it's a new chapter. You're forced to enter this new chapter with your partner. What do you want to do? And again, avoid being reactive. Avoid trying to seek revenge. It's really about constructive action. Okay, you have this idea, and we don't care whether this idea is stupid or not. You want to travel the world on a Harley Davidson? Okay, let's discuss about that. Why? What's going on? What are you trying to achieve? What's the purpose? What could be my role in that? How do you envision the relationship? How do you envision life, etc., etc., etc.? We don't care if he wants to travel the world on a Harley Davidson. That's not the point. Don't tell him, you've never driven a motorbike before. You hate camping. Blah, 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 blah. He doesn't want to know that, or she doesn't want to know that. Okay? If you fight them directly, you will be the dream killer. Again, I don't know why I came up with this example, but this Harley Davidson thing. Maybe He's dreamt about owning a Harley Davidson for years, since like 6 years old. Now he has money, he has time, he wants to buy his Harley Davidson. Let him buy his Harley Davidson. And I'll tell you a secret. He will buy this motorbike. And in 6 months' time, he'll feel, okay, I've done it. Okay? That's usually like that. Usually we over-amplify this dream. We make it like a big thing. We make it like, this is what I was after, right? For so many years. I can finally do it. Then you do it and you feel like, okay, maybe I need something else. So the problem is that if you're confrontational, if you say like, it's a bad idea, you're making a mistake, you're preventing them from having the dream and you become the enemy, which is the last thing you want to do. So in terms of understanding and support, you have to recognize that your partner internally, that your partner is having a crisis, and that he or she is not necessarily able to express or understand their feelings. Accept also they need some time and space. And in those situations, I'm not huge, but I think a phase of no contact or time apart or recalibrating the relationship is actually very healthy. If you've been together for 10, 15, 20 years, there's nothing wrong in having a break, right? When you just want to experience independence. Because sometimes we do things, we have the kids, we be with the kids, be with work, etc. And there's this idea that we might have missed things out, okay? When you have this time apart, if it's something that, it's something that you can build. And I'm a strong believer in proactive breakups, proactive breaks. Because when you do that consciously, when you reconnect, when you get back together, you're way stronger because you would really value the relationship. So it's different than no contact when you break up and you don't want to reduce the resentment and trigger a sense of fear of missing out, etc. Here it's just like, okay, maybe right now we still love each other. We still have a lot of respect for each other. And maybe we are entering a troubling phase. And maybe what we need is just a bit of time apart. It's just holidays from each other, right? Holidays, you don't go on holidays forever, right? You just need a few weeks, few months. Maybe you've always done things together, always going on holidays together, always doing things with the kids, always doing, maybe that's, let's take a month, 2 months, travel the world, do something without him or her. Challenge yourself to do that. And when you do that, especially if you do it consciously, trust me, people get back together and feel like, okay, I chase this pleasure, dopamine-driven thing, but I'm 50. I've done it. I like this, but I also need companionship. I also need that relationship, right? It's really about when you confront that dream, when you experience those things, it's usually short-lived. You tend to appreciate big thing, the long-term thing, i.e. the relationship. So it's very important to assess that. So as I said before, non-confrontational and be the listener more than the fixer. If you're a women like to fix. If you're a woman and you're in that situation and your husband or your partner is having stupid dreams, don't tell him it's a stupid dream, okay? Be a listener. Let them do those things. Let them make that mistake. And maybe, it's going to cost a bit of money. Maybe there's smarter things to do with that money. Let them do this. It's their money. It's their time. It's their dream. Let them have it. If you fight it, it's going to get worse. And again, as I said, you'll become the enemy, which is the worst thing that you could be doing. So some key advice: do not pressure or rush him or her when they experience the crisis. Again, as I say him a lot because when I wrote the slides, I really see women suffering from midlife crisis. But let me know if actually you're a man and your wife or your partner is having also a life crisis. It's about maintaining your own stability and well-being because again, this is a shock. This is like kind of troubled waters. So it's about, okay, maybe rather than focusing on making him face the reality or trying to fight this, okay, what can you do right now? And maybe, as I said, you could be going through a life crisis as well. What do you want to do right now? Maybe the kids left the house, maybe it's finally the time for you to travel, to do something else, to have another job, and so on and so forth. Don't try to fix, be a listener. Support without trying to control or fix the situation. They don't want you to be a solution. They don't want you to tell them, it's too expensive, it doesn't make sense, you're going to buy this and in 6 months you're going to regret, or you're going to sell it. This is not what they want to hear. Let them have their dream, please. The potential outcomes, so that will lead to obviously personal growth and stronger relationship. As I said before, I see that all the time. It's a very, very difficult time to manage, but when you get back on the other side, you're definitely stronger, because what you're creating right now is a new set of guidelines, a new structure. We evolve, and the problem is that as we evolve, we need to also get our relationship to evolve. And when that happens, there's usually a discrepancy between the relationship, which sometimes we assume it's fixated, and ourselves. And so it's really about aligning those things. So the reason it's difficult is because it's a transition phase. But once you manage this transition properly, then you're online and you are together on the same page in this new chapter. If I use the image of a book, okay? So you need to adapt, both of you. Maybe you're not necessarily keen on, traveling the world or doing those things. You'll have to adapt a little bit. And if you can't, and if you don't want to adapt, as I said, maybe the best solution for both of you is not to be together anymore. So it's very important to respect each other, to be patient. It's going to take time. You've been together for many years. If that transition takes a year, that's not the end of the world. You will come back stronger. Your relationship will be stronger. Being in a relationship, being in a healthy relationship, is very simple. You just have to meet your partner's need. The challenge with midlife crisis is that your partner's needs are changing. So you need to adapt. And your needs are changing as well. So it's about how can you readjust and recalibrate things. Final thought. It's very common for couples to go through this phase. And I would say all couples have to go through this phase. It's normal. It's a phase of reinvention. It's a new chapter in people's life. So it's a new chapter in your relationship. And it's important for you to ask yourself, okay, what do I want? What do we want? Right? Use this phase, and maybe you haven't chose that this transition will happen now, but okay, let's do it. What do you want? And I know it's a very difficult question to answer. It's almost philosophical. So if you have any question or any doubt or want to pick my brain, give me a call. There's a link in the description for 15-minute calls if you want to have a discussion with me and gain clarity on what you're doing and what you can achieve. Remember as well, it's not about you. It's not about the things you've said or done. You're the same person that they married. It's just that they've changed. It's just that their outlook of things, the way they perceive things, there's a clash between this idea, this new life, this dream, and the relationship, right? Your relationship will be different, that's for sure. And what you have to understand is how can you transition from your old life to this new life? And maybe the best thing is for you to be apart, and that new life is not something that you can share. And again, if you're not sure, if you are puzzled, let me know, give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to guide you. I don't do those calls. Obviously, 50 minutes is not a consultation, but on those calls, I will give you my honest view, whether you're wasting your time, whether there's ways for you to address the relationship, address the things that are broken or not. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll see you next time. Take care.